Good morning, Grunkle Tim here. Welcome to the garden. These stories, they're really old, but I've dusted them off and made them fit today a little better. This is my take on Jack and the Beanstalk, kind of told with my own climbing borlotti beans right in the background. They came with my great-great-grandfather from Sicily. We found them in my grandma's garage a few years back, and I planted them, and I've been growing them ever since. My friend Megan came over one day and said, hey, with her mom from Rome, and she's like, oh, these are borlotti beans, they're the best. I had no idea what they were. So tying a little bit of that in here. So this is a story about old seeds, dumb trades, and finding your way back to what really matters. There's no green screen. There's no team. It's just me out here with the chickens and reading you something I hope you want to remember. Without further ado, let's get into it. Jack and the Beanstalk, a Northwest folktale, retold by Grunkle Tim. Jack and his mom lived on the edge of a wet little town where fir trees scraped the clouds and banana slugs ruled the sidewalks. They ran a humble food truck called the Heirloom Spoon. Famous, at least once, for a slow-simmered borlotti beans. Not just any beans. These were seeds handed down for 5 generations, straight from Jack's great-grandfather, who brought them across the Atlantic in a wax paper tucked in his boot. But now, the truck sat idle under a tarp. The beans were nearly gone, and the generator wouldn't start. Jack's mom sighed, and she said, there's no customers, there's no power, and just one jar of those precious beans left. Jack's mom handed him the jar. Sell them, she said. They're our only chance. At the Saturday farmers market, Jack dodged dogs and sweaters, breezed past stalls of vegetables, patchouli dealers, locally foraged mushroom hot pads, and a guy selling forest brewed espresso. Near the end of the row, he met a woman in a rain-drenched cloak. She had wild hair, sharp eyes, and a table covered with lichen and moss. You're looking for something else, she said. I can tell. Yeah, Jack said. Cash, ideally. She opened a wooden box and showed him 5 beans. Not brown, but electric green, with a shimmer like beetle shells. They seemed alive, vibrating with energy. Jack was entranced. Sky beans, she whispered, grown in moonlight, watered by fog. They'll change your life. Jack blinked. Do they taste good? She just smiled and snatched the borlotti beans out of Jack's hand. Before he knew it, he had a bag of sky beans in his other hand. It happened so fast. Jack was dumbfounded and forgot to say, no? And like a wisp of the willows, the woman disappeared into the crowd. Jack knew he was in trouble. Jack came home empty-handed. His mom stared at the sky beans. You traded your great-grandpa's heirlooms for mystic legumes from a cryptic herbalist? Jack tried to explain. She was already walking away. What could he do? So he shrugged, dug a hole by an old cedar stump, and planted them, hoping he hadn't ruined their lives. By morning, a vine had exploded from the soil, as thick as a tree trunk, twisting straight up into the clouds. The leaves were huge, and each stem was exactly a foot apart. And like any good young lad, if something can be climbed upon, it must be climbed. Jack packed a hoodie, a granola bar, and some duct tape, and up he went. Up, and up, and up. Up through the clouds he went, past the eagles and wind turbines, until he reached a glass fortress floating in the sky. Inside, he saw tech furniture, LED vines, and a giant man in joggers and a Patagonia vest. He was holding a tablet the size of a dining room table. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of a non-monetized someone. Be they bootstrapped, broke, or bare, I'll squash 'em flat and patent their hair. Jack ducked behind a compostable yoga mat, realizing he'd met a real-life tech giant. The giant stomped around drinking a 10-gallon can of Neurochai, trademark. Scrawled on the side of the can was a marketing message with 20 milligrams of Adderall, ceremonial mushrooms, and adaptogenic foam. The giant slurped it through a stainless steel straw the size of a sewer pipe. I hate freeloaders, he growled. If you're in my cloud space, you better be pitching me something. Jack took a deep breath, and then he stood. I'm Jack. I make stew. The giant squinted. You're a cook? Jack nodded. Yeah, but I climbed your beanstalk. The giant raised one bushy eyebrow and said, well, that's some serious gumption, kid. He leaned closer, teeth the size of square dinner plates, and breath that carried a note of ketosis from extended fasting. What you got? A disruptive food concept? A ghost kitchen NFT? I'm pivoting to edible tech right now, as you can see, showing him the can. Jack stammered, I just want to feed people. I lost something real. I made a dumb trade. The giant's nostrils flared. Lost your beans, huh? Classic founder mistake. He reached towards Jack, fingers like fire hydrants. I could squash you, but... The giant sniffed. You smell like something old, something homemade, something real. He paused and rummaged through the giant faux cedar box, and out came a solar array with a couple Jackery boxes, a spice rack labeled Essence of Grunkle Tim's Garden, and most importantly, a small jar sealed in wax. Jack grasped inside were his great-grandfather's borlotti beans. You had them? The giant shrugged. Yeah, I bought them off this crazy cryptic herbalist last week. She said somebody was going to come looking for them. Jack held the jar tight. Jack looked down. The giant looked down at him and said, don't waste them. Jack said, I won't. And then he ran. Jack ran away, and the giant was not happy. And the giant stopped after him, furiously yelling, Fee, fi, fo, file, you forgot your free subscription trial. But Jack was already climbing down the vine. Back home, he and his mom rebuilt the truck. They boiled the beans slow. And when the giant came down to visit, in a hoodie of sunglasses, of course, he always left full, quiet, and a little less giant. Moral of the story, some things are too good to scale. The best recipes don't need disruption. Just time, heart, and beans that remember where they came from. Hey, thanks for listening. If you got old seeds or old stories, hang on to them. If you like this, hit like, subscribe, and share with somebody who still believes in beans. I'll be back soon with another one. Same garden, same voice, same single take. Take care out there. Love y'all.